Welcome back to ABV TV. Today we're going to be drinking our first limited edition beer. We're going to be drinking Bentspoke's How's It Gosen Cherry Edition. How's it Gosen? So Bentspoke's How's It Gosen Cherry Edition. It's a cherry Gose. What's a Gose, you might ask? Well, a Gose is a style of beer which is salty, is probably the best way to describe it. It has a salted, dry and tartness to it. Can just be plain beer, or it can be infused with fruit. Bentspoke, this is their second run of this. The first run was a tropical Gose, and this one is a cherry Gose, which means it has this nice, beautiful red hue to him. Sort of a pinky red, probably more closer to a darker red. That also could be because I'm wearing a maroon jumper and it's transferring hue. Either way, won't get much of a head out of this beer. Won't get much head out of Goses anyway, because not a lot of hops in it. It's very light sort of malt bill. In fact, I think this is only 4%, which Goses are usually going to be on the lighter end of the ABV scale, so around that 3.5, 4%. Aroma wise, all I am getting is cherry, and that's what you want because it's a cherry Gose. Makes sense. But no, it's a really nice sort of cherry flavor that's coming through. There is a little bit of that saltiness, but I don't know if it's because that's what I'm preparing myself for, knowing what a Gose beer or Gose beer is like. You know, probably preempting my brain to expect some tartness and saltiness come through. Now, the idea of a salty beer is probably turning a lot of people off who haven't tried a Gose style beer before, but it's not as bad as it's probably made out and sounds. While there is generally a little bit of saltiness, and I think they usually do add salt while they're actually brewing this beer. This one, you can hardly really notice the salt at all. The cherry takes over any of that salty flavor. It is quite drying and it is quite tart, but the cherry flavor really helps balance it out a little bit. So you end up having a nice, crisp, dry, refreshing beer, which I suppose you could assimilate to like a dry, crisp white wine. I don't, because rosés are usually pretty sweet. I'm not a wine drinker, I'm really just talking out my arse here, but that's kind of how I would attribute this beer to, is that it's more like a dry, soft white wine. But it is very, very delicious. I'm not gonna lie about that. I've got to stop talking while I've got the glass up to my mouth. That's something that I've noticed. Thanks for all you people who haven't pointed that out, and that's awesome. But it's good. It's really refreshing. Like this. Look, I suppose it's a red beer, pink can. It's Christmas season. If I get this video out in time for Christmas, who knows? I've probably stuffed up, and you're probably watching this in March. Doesn't matter. This is going to be ideal for Christmas. In fact, I wonder if I can convince the family to, instead of the traditional wine for Christmas, we just drink How's It Gosen, the cherry edition. don't think there'll be a part to it because most of them don't really like drinking craft beer. Does anyone else have that their family aren't, well, have family that aren't they just want to stick to shit beer? No, I try, but it just never works. Doesn't matter. Unless I know it means when I go home, no one's going to drink my beer. That's actually probably the best part about that, really. Yeah, mate, just stop encouraging people to try craft beer because then they'll just end up drinking mine. But yeah, Bentspoke, how's it going? Traditionally, I don't like doing limited edition beers for reviews. The idea behind me doing this is not only just to drink beer on the internet and talk to myself, but it's to give people who are probably in that early stage of craft beer into finding out a little bit more. I tend to give tasting notes, which I'm not very good at. The last few videos are probably evidence to that a little bit. But the reason I do this as well is to choose beers that are easily available. And so like I don't want to start reviewing a bunch of limited release beers which are sold out 20 minutes after they're online at the brewery. Beers that that most people can't get. So a lot of the stuff that I will review is stuff that you can find in big bottle shops or that's easily enough accessible. And I'm trying to keep it to beers that I think most people would probably like, or as they evolve through their craft beer journey will learn to appreciate. So I was a little bit hesitant about doing this beer because it is a limited run, but the thing with Bentspoke is that they do this quite often, and they just obviously change up the flavors. As I said before, the original one was a tropical Gose. This one is cherry. You'll probably find that this time next year there's going to be another one with a different flavor to it again. So it's something to keep an eye out for. If you tried this and you think this is really, really nice, which I do. And look, I was never a sour fan. I was not a real big fan of Gose to begin with, but I've learned to appreciate sours, and I really, really like a good fruited Gose. And this is a fantastic example of that. The cherry flavour does sort of linger a little bit, so it is going to be perfect for Christmas. This will pair very well when I'm sitting at the kitchen table ploughing through the box of cherries that my dad always gets for Christmas. And you always end up eating way too many cherries. You end up eating way too much over Christmas, and they say, yeah, it's fine, that's what Christmas is all about. But yeah, I suppose I could be eating worse things than cherries. I'm drinking beer. Probably not. Yeah, this is absolutely delicious. One that I do highly recommend. So hopefully by the time the video is out, it's still available. And if so, go out and get him. Bentspoke, how's it Gosen cherry Gose style beer. And if it's not available, bookmark this video, and this time next year, track down their latest edition. I never do this because I always forget, but if you, for some reason, like what you've watched here today, God bless you. You can always like, subscribe, click the little subscribe button. There'll be something that comes up here that makes it easy for you to do that. I'm still learning about YouTube and this sort of world. I don't really know. I've got a fancier title screen now. I don't know if anyone's noticed that. Definitely better than just a can being cracked open. At some stage I'll probably be those YouTubers that has to get the ring light and all the lighting settings so then you don't see glare and background and all that other bullshit. Who knows? Or I'll just give up. One way or another. Tell me in the comments. Continue, give up. I'll take a poll. Anyway, like, subscribe. Thank you for watching. And I will see you next week, hopefully. Cheers. Oh, and if I do get this up in time for Christmas, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. If I don't, Happy Easter. I don't know.